Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, it's good to be. We learned a lot since yesterday. I think in the talk of Ms. Alice Kiblatin earlier, open opportunities, open learnings also. And I think before I introduce the different panel members of the panel, I will also throw some questions to the audience. So take away for the speech earlier, call to action. You heard it? The call to action. Now I have one thing, call to action for the barangay. What is it? Clean up your barangays. Kasama doon. What else? Peace and order in the barangay. That's under your control. Right? And also third is perhaps support the businessmen and the entrepreneurs in your barangay. These are the people who are spending money, investing money to make a difference. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're happy and to have members of the panel. Of course, I don't have, maybe I don't have to introduce Ms. Alice Kiblatin. Right? So, I will ask Raf and Strozzi maybe to talk about or speak about what they do, their business, as well as perhaps, how you can inspire the participants in this event, in this room. Okay, we start. Ladies first.
Mayong buntag, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name is Strozzi. I'm a designer, crafter, and artist here sa Cebu. So, product sa mga mentoring ng DTI. And also some other mentors dito sa Cebu. So before, yung basic na crafting ko, like yung young years ko pa na I do beads, yung maggawa-gawa ng mga craft ng beads, I like fashion. So right now, through the mentoring and other like branding sa DTI, so nag-evolve po yung products ko. So naging na po siya, level up na po siya. So, yung kind of, yung process is metalsmithing. So, the luxury of craftsmanship is not just for the local, but also nag-introduce na po tayo sa international level. And in fact, my clients are not just nag-level up na din. So, I'm so proud of that also. So, yun.
Thank you, Ms. Chelsea. We'll go back to you because I have a lot of questions about your craftsmanship, where you started, and maybe later on how the barangay people can relate to that. Let's go to Raf, Mr. Raf.
Hi, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Kamusta po kayo? Baka gusto niyong tumayo ng konti para magising ng konti. Kasi mahirap yung nakaupo ng matagal. Ako, maiksi ang aking attention sa pag nakaupo ako ng matagal. Siguro, pwede ko hingin yung isang slide na lumabas. Yung pangalawang slide ko po. Para lang maintindihan nyo yung ginagawa namin. Dito po sa likod, may kwentong nangyayari. Yung kwento dito, may isang grupong katutubo na may kausap silang malaking kumpanya. Ang sabi ng matanda, gusto po namin ng development. Pero yung development po sa amin, ang ibig sabihin niya, inaalagaan po ang lupa at inaalagaan din ng tubig. Hindi lang po pera. Kaya kung may development tayo, sana ganyan po yung mangyari. So, kung ano po yung sinabi ng matandang dumagat, yan din po ang gusto namin para sa mga barangay, sa mga sitio. Yung second slide po, pwede. So, ibig sasabihin ko sa inyo kung anong ginagawa ko. Medyo mahirap kasi. Ipakita ko na lang, paki-play na lang po. Ito po yung ginagawa namin. Sige, habang hindi piniplay. Bale,
Download nyo na lang.
Okay, sige. Hindi nila kaya, hindi kaya. Sige, kung ganun, pwedeng next slide na lang po. Hindi po ang liwanag. Hindi yan. Paki-refresh mo yung link. Can you refresh the link? Oo. Sayang yung litrato. Next slide. Next po. Next. Next. Next po. Next po. Hala, ba't hindi lumabas? Sir, dinownload niyo ba yung slides? Kaya pala. Pwede bang sa Google yung gamitin, sir? Nandun kasi naka-refresh na. Sayang. Oo. Nakahanda pa naman para sa comment ni Sir na
Okay, sige.
Sige, sir. Pero, ano na lang, sorry guys, technical difficulty. Pero, ang ginagawa namin, nakikipag-partner kami sa mga barangay, mga sitio. Magbubuo kami ng ecotourism sa lugar nila. No? Kapartner po sila. Ngayon, may konting training yan, pero yung mga guides, yung team namin may guides din. Kasabay namin kayong magtutour. So, katabahan namin usually Aita, Dumagat, magsasaka, mangingisda. No? Bale, katulad po ni Ma'am, yan po yung hilig namin. Tapos, habang may tourism, minimentor din po namin sila kung yung produkto na pwedeng lumabas sa community. Yung mga produkto namin na lumabas na kasoy, kape, honey, at iba't ibang uri ng tsaa tulad ng tsaang kawayan, tsaa ng anonas, tsaa ng kape, dahon ng kape, at iba pa. So yun po yung mga ginagawa namin.
So, in short, parang ito nagme-marry dito sa sinabi ni Ma'am Alice earlier about engaging in the community. And in fact, this goes beyond parang social enterprise. Social enterprise, and you're helping in terms of the what can be developed in the community as well as what's interesting as far as tourists are concerned. Yeah.
Yun. Ayun. Tsaka mahalaga po sana na bumalik talaga yung kalikasan. Ito po yung before and after sa gitna. Oo. Baka pwede nilang i-next slide po ulit. Ito na ba yung Google Slides? Yes. Next slide. Play mo yung video dito. Yan, para makita nila. So dito po nagsimula kami 2017, medyo malbo pa. 2021, makita ko lang. Medyo dumami na yung puno. Tapos 2024, binalik yung puno dyan. Tapos yung mga tao kasi, hindi pwedeng kalikasan lang, so kabuhayan din. So humingi kami ng pananim mula sa Good Shepherd Sisters sa Baguio, yung masarap na ube dyan. Nabigay ng pananim ng ube. Tapos sa community, tinuruan namin sila magawa ng ube chips. Yung ube chips na manalis-namis ng konti. Tapos, ito po, konti lang kasi ang puhunan namin. So yung mga seedling, namumulot kami ng mga buto at bigis kung saan-saan. Tapos tinatanim ng mga bisita, ayan, lumalaki na po. At habang lumalaki ang puno, mas presko. 13 degrees Celsius yung lamig niya versus sa labas. Habang may puno, may bulaklak. Pag may bulaklak, may honeybee. Pag may honeybee, may honey ka na pwedeng ibenta. So yan, binibenta na rin po nila. Tapos, bukod dyan, yung fruit trees po, mahalagang mahalaga. So kahit COVID, nagpapatanim at nag-i-inspection. Ito, kaya-kaya ito. Within 1 year, nagkapapaya farm sila. Ngayon, kalamansi na rin. No? So binibentahan nila yung mga local na hotel. No? Tapos kawayan po, ito medyo matagal lang. Pero nung tinanim siya ng 2016, pagdating ng 2020, ginagawa na siyang parol sa lugar. No? So, para naman kumita yung barangay sa lugar. No? So ito po, 100 pamilya po ang nakikinabang dito. Tapos yung kasoy po, kasoy kasi natin galing China, Vietnam. So namumulot kami ng buto ng kasoy. Ngayon, 30,000 na po ang puno namin ng kasoy sa Zambales na pinoprocess. At salamat sa DTI, may processing center sila. So doon binabagsak. So yan po, mga halimbawa na pwede nyo gawin sa barangay nun. At dyan kami pwedeng tumulong pag-partner.
Wow, there's a lot of effort here, Mr. Kraft. I asked earlier about what triggered you, what drove you to do this, because this is going hindi ito madaling gawin. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and in fact, it takes a lot of resources to do this. No? Doing this, and kung wala kang income, hindi mo ma-sustain, hindi mo maipatuloy ang ginagawa mo, kasi hindi naman paggawa mo, meron kagad kita eh. So, ang tanong ko earlier is, paano ka kumita? Kumikita ka ba? At saka, yung mga tinutulungan mo, yung kita nila para naman sila ay maging interesado sa ginagawa ninyo.
Siguro yun nga yung isang mahirap, no? Kasi nung nagsimula kami, yung chieftain, binigay ko ng puno, tapos sabi niya, bayaran mo ko para itanim. Ang sagot ko sa kanya, chieftain, lupa mo yan, libreng puno, ba't ayaw mo itanim? Ang sagot niya, kasi nga, kailangan ko pakainin yung anak ko. Kung wala kang bayad, magtatrabaho ko, hindi ko na ito itatanim sa bundok. So, yung naging sagot sa pangangailangan nila talaga, yung turismo, yung sinasabi ni Ma'am kanina. Kasi yun, madalian yung pera. Basta maayos ang pagkain, malinis, yung mga lalaki sa community, dapat pagdating ng bisita, silang bahala sa safety. Yun, lahat nababayaran. Pero yung chieftain na to, nakausap namin, hindi lang yung panggayan yung iniisip niya. Nung babayaran na namin siya, and yung community na to, in one day, maka 4,000, 5,000 nang simula. Ngayon, pumapalo ng 30,000 yung nagay yung inagita nila eh. In one day, siguro pag malaki yung grupo. Ang sagot niya, sir, kung bigyan mo kami ng pera ngayon, baka magastos sa load, sa 3 naman na kape, at sa sigarilyo. Kasi yan ang hihingin sa akin ng mga boys ko. No? Hindi yan papakinabangan ng community namin ng matagal. So kung babalik ka, dalhan mo kami ng buto at bingin. Kasi yun, itatanim namin. Tapos kahit nakawin yung magnanakaw magtatanim, at makikinabang ang mga bata sa sityo namin. So yun po, kailangan namin ng isang pinuno na nakikita ang ngayon, pero nakikita din ang kinabukasan. Tapos naiintindihan niya kung saan magaling ang tao at kung saan kung saan kaya ng tao lumago. Doon po sila sa pagtanim mo. Kaya kami, may tourism pero nagdadala din kami ng mga buto at bigyan. At yung mga butong ito, yung mga binito, nire-research din namin sa palengke. Ano ba yung itatanim mo na dapat pwedeng ibenta? Hindi naman pwedeng ibenta mo yung binibenta na sa palengke. Hindi nag-price war kayo, babagsak. Yung halimbawa lang, yung kasoy, alam kong shortage, pinag-aawayan sa palengke eh. Inikot ko yung mga palengke ng mga bayan eh. Yung kalamansi, nalaman ko sa Zambales, wala pa lang grower ng kalamansi sa bayan namin o sa mga tabi. O di kalamansi na tayo kasi sigurado kaya mo.
Rob, sinabi ko, takes a lot of, science to do this. You study this, and then you implement it, and most of the problems that we have is really implementation, and you need to have very good people down in the field. In fact, my question later on, I'll ask you about ano yung criteria ng community, ano yung criteria, anong hinahanap mo na pwede mo tulungan. So, babalikan kita later on. Punta tayo dito kay Miss Strozzi. Okay, nakita ko yung produkto mo, jewelry, and nakita ko, meron ko slide i-present. There. So, can you explain about this? Yeah, Miss Strozzi.
Yung sa akin dito meeting is, first po is, from drawing, kami talaga maggawa ng casing talaga. So, hindi kami mag-depende kung ano yung market, yung mga components, hindi naman na simple yan. It really start yung kung ano yung nasa utak ko na i-draw ko, magagawa talaga siya sa metal smithing. Until yung from scratch to finish kami talaga nagawa. So, ito po yung yung event ito na event ni First Lady Lisa Marcos na nag-represent po ako sa Visayas na one of the designer or crafter na nag-show sa Manila National Museum. So, ito po yung mga designs ko at saka yung mga accessories na nilarampa sa mga mga designer, ay mga models po. So, tabi collaboration with Johnny Scario, na designer din. So, yun po yung mga gawa ko.
Ang ganda, no? Ang ganda. And ito nga, may nakuha akong sample dito. And alam ko na matutuwa ang misis ko dito. Pin. Pinicturean ko na ito, pinadala ko kay misis. Excited siya. Thank you very much. But anyway, yung material ninyo, nakita ko ay pwedeng available in the community. Are these like, may makukuha mo tayong perhaps yung mga dinidiscard, tinatapon, no? And mapakinabangan pala. Kasi ito ay sasabihin natin from a very low value, nagiging high value, nagiging jewelry, at sinusuot pa ng mga models. No? So, ito ngayon, my understanding is nabebenta na locally at saka may mga bumibili na sa export order. No? Mga parang buyers.
Yung mga products ko before is, nag-start lang po ako sa bazaar-bazaar sa mga department store, ganun. Yung mga clients ko ay yung mga walk-ins lang. Ngayon yung mga clients ko ay, yung tatawag na sa akin yung mga clients na, uy, Strozzy, may VIP tayo na coming. Mga usually, yung mga products ko ay yun ang ibibigay sa mga BBVIP na mga pupunta dito sa Pilipinas. Example, yung mga consul, mga ambassador from the other countries. Ito na po yun. And before, even ngayon, yung mga clients ko na din is mga high ranking officials, si Subel, si Louis Lear, si Abuitis, dito sa Cebu. So, yun na po yung mga clients ko ngayon. So, yun po. From ano lang yan, from beads lang yan, tsaka yung changi lang. Ngayon, doon na ako sa mga high-end na mga lugar like mga BGC, mga Rockwell, yung mga Shangri-La, yun na po ako ngayon. So,
yeah. Itong earrings nyo, di ba? At saka yung kwentas.
Yeah. So, yung mga
meron bang display dito sa labas?
Ito po yung mga DNA ko sa yung design ko. Yung DNA ng yung design ko is na-represent talaga ng Pinoy. So, yung kind of fiesta feels na I'm not just selling jewelry, I'm selling stories. Wow. I'm selling yung fiesta vibes ng mga Pinoy. Gano'ng katayo kabibo. So, it's really colorful. Yung inlay niya is mother of pearl, malachite stone, turquoise, lapislazuli, mga shells. Yung mga shells natin is local from Cebu talaga. And the rest is po yung yung luxury ng craftsmanship. So that's why po, every time may mga VIP tayo pumunta dito sa Philippines, yung mga products ko po ang ibibigay sa as token. Especially yung example yung kay Department Tourism na si Secretary Cristina Casco. Actually, she's also my boss. Yan. Ito po yung one of my clients, yung ambassador sa US, si Madam Cristina, and the rest po yung mga ka-brand ko din ng mga Filipino. So, yung mga designs po namin talaga, much better po talaga na yung mga products natin is nakatatak talaga yung Pinoy na identity. Kasi tayo mo yung nagawa ng yung soft power or nagbigay ng identity sa Philippines. So, yun talaga yung advantage din na kung yung products natin is really nag-represent ng Philippines.
Wow, great. So, if you wear the jewelry of Strozzy, you're just like the Louis, you're just like the Ayakas, etc. So, nagiging high value kasi hindi mo makikita ito. This is very unique. Now, I wear my hat as a mentor, Strozzy. Na-register mo ba ito sa IPO? sa IPO, intellectual property, para hindi magaya. Wala! Okay, you have to do that. You have to do that. Yung design mo, yung materials, etc. You have to register that para hindi madaling gayahin. Otherwise, hala, nakita nila, gagayahin nila. Ha? Yeah, so, okay, so, what I'm trying to say is that negosyo din ito. Kayo, pwede kayo mag-negosyo. Imagine, Strozzi, you know, creative. Ito yung creative, the creative part. And I understand you also finished design. Design, creative.
Bachelor of Fine Arts,
Fine
major
Arts.
interior design.
Okay, so may background. May background man talaga. But she went forward and trying to look at what are the available materials around. Did you buy, did you import any of the materials? These are all available.
Some po ay import, but usually, example yung export, di ba? Malaki itong export dito sa Lapu-Lapu, sa MEDSA. So, some I buy the scraps.
Scraps?
Yeah.
Look.
Yung mga shells na mga cut na shells because yung inlay ng jewelry is mga maliit lang na mga
See?
you know. So,
take
yung
it.
furniture na mga scrap ng furniture, so
Scrap
I
also.
buy those, yeah.
Look, the scraps around you. Think about it. It's just a matter of being very creative. What you can do with the resources, the materials in the household, in the barangay, in around, yung mga corporate scraps, etc. Ito ang model. Ito yung pinapakita ni Miss Strozzi na pwede palang gawin ninyo. Since ito ngayon, naging maganda na itong business model mo, you'll be able to inspire them. What I suggest, what I advise you, file, yung proprietary ownership of the design, etc. sa Intellectual Property Office, IPO. And the other thing, my question, again, I'm wearing my hat as a mentor. How do you scale up? How do you make this business grow? And maybe you can also check whether they would be willing to be taught, trained, so that they become your suppliers, or you can outsource some of the jobs to them. How do you grow, or what keeps you from growing, making it really big?
At first, passion lang siya at first. But later on, dapat kakain tayo ng 3 times a day.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
yun talaga, ma-trigger ka talaga na, since yun ang passion mo, yun ang love mo, so, i-monetize na lang natin. So, i-make it to business na talaga siya, at the same time, maka-hire tayo ng mga, at saka maka-train muna. Train muna ng mga tao kasi yung skills na metal smithing, hindi mo yan makikita everywhere. Matagal yung process yung pag-train ng mga tao.
Okay.
Tapos, sometimes, na-train mo na siya, na ano pa siya, na ano ba yun? Yung makuha sa iba, yung mapiring pa. So, at saka yung motivation din na to push talaga na all the way na hindi siya maboboard. So, at the same time, yun ang nagbigay tayo ng trabaho sa mga next generation din.
Yeah.
At saka nagbigay din sila na, of course, nag-support din sa pamilya nila.
Yes.
So, yun talaga yung motivation na ma-push natin sa yung kind of this field po.
Thank you, thank you. So, it starts as a fashion at saka passion together. No? And then you have to scale up so that it can be a business. Sinabi mo nga, monetize your passion, monetize your creativity, monetize your innovation. And that is the challenge among entrepreneurs. You have created something, you have innovated something, monetize it, and then you scale it up. Now, dito, meron ka ng showroom? Showroom. Okay. Ate Alice, I call her Ate Alice. Because she's the wife of my cousin. Okay. This is another destination of the tourists. And maybe you have to have a very nice showroom. And, you know, you can bring tourists and maybe, you know, bibili sila, pampasalubong, susuot, etc. What do you think about that, Ate Alice?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Really, tourism is really the end of all of these initiatives, all of the manufacturing, the products. Because tourism is something that, you know, like, it is a service industry. So we do not really actually create the products that we promote. What we do is we look around and say, what story, how can Cebu really promote itself by being a different, unique destination? And that is what we've been doing all the way. Our main problem is when we create an itinerary, we go to Carbon Market, like we used today, like I was talking to Strozzi. One very good thing is a walking tour. A walking tour in Magallanes Street all the way down, and then you stop at someone who does this, who shows you how to do it. Another thing, we tried that. In fact, even food was the very first product that we used to do for that. A walking tour. We went to a place where halo-halo is best made. Just the simple halo-halo became a product. And every tour they would always say, let's go to the place where we eat your ice cream, which is a very different Filipino ice cream. So we had to always go. But then, after 5 months, the halo-halo store was not there anymore. For several reasons. I mean, like, we don't have tourists every day, so it cannot really depend on tourism alone. It should be a product that even the locals can really, you know, make use of. Otherwise, you will really have a niche market. Now, this is the time for niche market because we don't have mass tourism anymore. So if you're asking about a showroom, it doesn't have to be fancy, but it has to be accessible.
Yeah.
So the best news I have for everyone in this room is a one-stop shop. Now, what's happening in the one-stop shop for crafts? It only opened last Saturday. Because if we do a craft store, we have to go to Mactan to do one thing. Then we go to Beverly to do another thing. Then we go to another area of Cebu to see another thing. Sometimes the travel takes up a lot of your time.
Yep.
Okay, but if it is a one-stop shop where you show samples of the best unique things that you have. So last Saturday, the Atua, which is Atua name, you know, it's ours.
Ours.
Yeah, ours.
Where's
so the
that
Atua sa
located?
Midtown opened already in Eddie's Hotel. So it's near.
Eddie's Hotel.
Yeah, it's behind Eddie's Hotel, but not behind, but it's right beside Eddie's Hotel, near Redemptorist, near
You should be
Iglesia ni Cristo. Her mentor is there, so she can carry some of her products. But lahig yun if you really have your own. Okay, so that is a one-stop shop, and we went to see it last Saturday. We thought that when it's fully open, there will be, I think, about 43 small craft shops. Not only craft, but even local beer. Local crafted beer is being served there. Local mangoes and all of that stuff. Local food. So when you go and shop, if the women can do the shopping, the men could go drinking, because there's local, you know, local crafted beer. My God, I mean, I never even knew that it's being done in Cebu. We brew it, and it became very popular there. Mix of cocktails, very Cebuano way of doing it. But it has to have a level of acceptance. And sometimes if the taste is also so strange, it may not be passable immediately. But that is one thing that I would like to recommend. It doesn't have to be a fancy place, but make sure it's accessible. If you are one of many, it makes it easier to sell.
Yeah.
Because when we bring the guests there, they may not like one, but they can move on to the others.
Correct.
So that it's a wrong idea nga. We'll be the only one in the corner.
Yeah.
That's very, I mean, to begin. But later on, if you can do specialties, then dayuhan na mo. We will go to your place. So yes, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
Really,
I'm struck with your statement also that, okay, and with that, in your presentation, many of those highlighted destinations, and even, you know, the tops, the New Star, the bridge, all of this came and funded by specific or those entrepreneurs or businessmen. And it became now icons. So here it is important to inspire the entrepreneurs along this line that it can be a destination. It is something different. And tourism group will package this all together. And every destination belongs to a barangay. Take note of that. Every destination register themselves in the barangay. When they open, you know, their whatever, when they open their business, they open their showroom, or when they open their factory, etc., it gets its license from the barangay. When tourists go to these destinations, they go to your barangay. That is why earlier I said, make your barangay clean and orderly. That's your contribution there. You know?
Sir, because nasabi niyo nga na linisin yung barangay, I prepared one slide.
Okay, go ahead.
Baka pwedeng ipakita lang. Ano kasi, backstory lang. Dati kasi nagtayo ako ng isang rentahan sa dagat. Naging marami yung dagat. Bumagsak lahat ng bisita. Hindi na bumalik yung mga bisita. No? So, kami talagang namulat kami sa katotohanan na pag marumi, walang bisita. Pag malinis, may bisita. At lalo na ako na taga Maynila po, yung Manila Bay namin, napakarumi po, napakabaho. Kahit anong hotel magtayo doon, hindi ka pupunta ng baho eh. Nakaawa nga tignan. So, ito po. Yung basura po, dumating din sa dagat, kakainin yan ng isda. Diyan po yan ng yellowfin tuna. So ito po yung ginawa namin. May programa kami. We love the ocean. And we like playing with. We want to keep it clean. It's becoming more common for us to surf and then encounter a lot of trash. It's gotten to a point where we have to take up the bits and pieces of plastic that fits in our pocket. Yung mga isang nakita naming avenue for tourism, educational tourism po, no? Last slide lang. Kasi ngayon, ang kabataan, gusto nilang mas malinis ang lugar. So maraming mga programa ngayon from schools or corporations, gusto nilang tumulong mag-clean up. Pero hindi pwedeng maglinis lang. Kailangan magbago din yung pananaw ng tao na taga roon na yung basura natin dapat bawasan. Kung meron mang maiwan, dapat masegregate na natin. So ito po, yung programa namin kahapon to, ang tawag dito, Level Up, Clean Up. Bale, may clean up, pero kasama na dun po yung mga negosyo na nag-recycle, yung negosyo na tutulong sa inyo para mabawasan yung basura. Para naman ang tao habang naglilinis, natututo din kung paano ibago yung mga ginagawa. Para magbagong buhay tayo, di ba? Kung lahat tayo magbawas ng isang plastic na basura bawat araw, malaking magagawa yun. So kami naghahanap kami ng mga barangay kung saan pwedeng gawin to sa Cebu at sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa. Kasi kailangan maintindihan ng Pilipino na puhunan natin sa bayan at para sa sarili natin ay isang malinis na dagat, isang malinis na ilog. So,
Yeah.
yun po.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob. And you know what? There's money in scrap. There's money in waste. So, I encourage you to collect your waste. And in fact, the simple advice of segregation is not even followed from the household to the barangay, etc. So, going back, your barangay should be attractive to tourists. Your barangay should be inviting to tourists. In fact, when you go to the barangay, I know that barangays, they have naman budgets. No budget for peace and order. They have budget also for the roads. They have budgets for the drainage. They have also budget. You can ask your congressman on that. No? But it's really about, helping each other. And earlier I said that dapat yung barangay partner ng mga negosyante. Kasi itong negosyante nagpo-provide ng mga jobs, nagpo-provide ng opportunities to the barangay. No? So I'll go back to you, Raf. Earlier I asked you, you have done, good things. Ito nga, sabi ko nga, social enterprise. Because you're helping people, helping the barangay community, addressing their needs. But yet, you have to make sure you make money out of it. How do you sustain it? Because it's not all, it won't make money immediately. That's why earlier I asked, who financed this? Who is financing this? And etc. If you have to choose a barangay because this takes a lot of money, ano kriteria ng area ng barangay na gusto mo makipag-partner para ikaw, you will also replicate what you have done in this successful model to this barangay? Ano yung hinahanap mo na kriteria? Ano ang meron sa barangay? Ano ang meron sa leaders? Ano ang meron sa mga tao doon?
Sige sir, siguro ito rin ang malamang hahanapin ni ma'am or kahit ng sinong nagtatrabaho. Una yung pinuno,
Leadership.
no? Ano siya, yung nasa puso niya, para sa tao, para sa kalikasan. Nararamdaman naman namin pag para sa pera lang, or pag para sa tao lang, pero wala yung kalikasan. Ang hinahanap namin balance po. Now, willing naman kaming magturo at kami gusto rin namin matuto mula sa barangay. No? Madalas yun ang nangyayari na kami rin tinuturuan kami. Tapos ano siya, ang gusto rin namin na partnership siya, na may gagawin kami, may gagawin ang barangay. Mahilitan na kasi ako dati nung nagsisimula ako. May nagtanong sa akin na ano siya, kagawad siya. Sabi niya, Iho, makikinabang ka ba dito? Nagkakilala lang kami, 3 minutes pa lang kami kakilala. Gano'n na ako. Sabi ko, ano siya, parang kasing edad siya ng lola ko. Oh, ang sabi ko sa kanya, ate, gusto ko kayong tulungan eh. Kaya ako pinopropose yung tourism na ganito. So sabi niya, Iho, ganito yan. Pag ikaw lang nakinabang, ayoko. Kasi ikaw lang makikinabang eh. Pag ako lang nakinabang, alam kong maalis ka. So ayoko din. Ang gusto ko, yung barangay namin makinabang, pero ikaw dapat makinabang din para mahaba yung pagsasama natin. Yun yung sabi niya sa akin. At hanggang ngayon, yun na rin ang pinapaliwanag ko sa mga community, city o barangay na katrabaho natin. Na pareho tayo makikinabang. So kami, siguro yung biyayang nabigay sa amin, marunong kaming mag-package ng programa para sa paaralan, para sa kumpanya na tuhog siya sa kailangan nilang matutunan sa corporate ESG, tawagin yung environment, social governance, or sa immersion, or sa CSR. Sa mga paaralan, pasok kami sa science, sa climate mathematics, pasok kami sa sustainable development goals. So nakukuha namin doon. So doon kami kikita. Tapos tutulungan namin yung community para yung ecotourism na kailangan para magbigay yun sa kanila. At pati yung produkto. So, ang hanap na talaga namin ay partners talaga na magtutulungan. At lahat ng community na katrabaho namin, pag maganda yung leadership, tuloy-tuloy kami. Yung pinakita ko isa, 10 years na kami with them. At kita naman namin na ngayon may mga college graduate na o matatapos na, mapapaalam nila mga anak nila. Nagkakuryente na rin, yung tubig tinatrabaho pa.
Yeah, you're in business also. So you're also in business. It's all like I wear my hat also as a mentor here. So how do you replicate that model? And perhaps you come up with the business model canvas, and maybe even try to document and manualize these things so that para bang i-franchise mo ba? Kasi franchising, the concept of franchising is a successful model being replicated in other areas that is being managed not necessarily by you, but you support them managing it themselves. That is something that perhaps you can replicate.
Actually, sir, yun nga, sa pag-isipan kayo, franchising might be a model or some hybrid program in different provinces. Kasi kailangan po, sana magawa sa ibang lugar po.
Yeah. Alice?
I would just like to follow through from what Raf is saying. In terms of tourism, because that is really, that's quite a task, what he's doing. Now, but if we want, not really quick, but in terms of tourism, right now, the educational tourism is really the big trend. Particularly because business tourism is not yet so much. We don't have the flights yet that come from the market source of our businessmen. Mass tourism is not here. We don't have the Chinese, the Indians coming in because of obvious visa problems. So we really have what we call the niche or the special tourist. But the educational tourism is here to stay. And we thought before that students only, yung students lang na mga eskwela ang interesado. A month ago, we tried it with Japanese. So we brought in Japanese executives to go into the chocolate journey. Because that for me is a very good example of involving the community. Because the moment there are tourists for the chocolate journey, then more cacao is being planted, more cacao is being brought in, and the artistry of the people who already know how to do it will be really tested. And my God, the comments are really great. In fact, when we brought in the Japanese executives, there were only 3 of them, to be honest. But we brought in also a journalist. So that journalist, together with the 3, we did our 2-hour chocolate journey. And at the end of that day, they were also sold out. So right now, we are now doing the packaging of the chocolate journey. We have a packaging already, but we have to improve it to the Japanese taste. We have to remember that the Japanese are really very keen on food, on picky food. They love their tea ceremony. But when they saw our chocolate ceremony, they said, our Japanese ladies would love this as well. So it is something that to educate. So right now, she's doing their thing. The journalist is writing about it. I'm doing the package of maybe 3 kinds of packaging, 3 nights, 4 days stay in Cebu. I bring them there. I do other things. Maybe an extension of 4 nights. So we give them a choice. And right now they're going to sell it already. And that happened only, 2 months ago. So the educational tourism, I hope, will really be very good as an input. Not just the students. Koreans are interested in that. And that's the kind of tourists we have. Our number 1 tourists right now are the Koreans because of the many flights that we have. We have almost like 4 flights a day. So the Koreans love it. Kanabitang the experiential, the meaningful, the meaningful travel. Because for them that means a lot. So we have the Koreans like it, the Japanese like it. Nobody's just promoting. So we hope that that experience with the Japanese and the journalist is writing about it will start. So we are doing educational tourism in the schools, but we also want to bring it outside.
That's very interesting. In fact, I really agree. The trend you presented earlier, it's about the storytelling It's about meaningful journey, meaningful, and you engage with the community. The narratives, the good stories to tell. And in fact, I would say we have to brand. Make sure also that our branding of tourism is going to be attractive. So the narratives, you can really contribute the narratives here, no? Especially, ano yung narrative dyan, no? Gusto ko dyan kasi very tourist-oriented. Have you heard about it? Very tourist-oriented yung mga tao dyan. Ano yung tourist-oriented? They recognize every tourist brings in also economic ripple effects. Pagdating pa lang niya sa airport, sa taxi, sa hotel, etc., it's all tourist-oriented. Hindi yung sa taxi pa lang, wala na. Imbis na 200, 300 na charge, sinarge ng 1,000, 2,000, etc., hold up na, etc., you know? So, that's why the narratives and the experience is getting to be the trend. Hindi na yung, the traditional tourism. Punta ka sa site, picture-picture, we're there, Eiffel Tower, etc. Do you know that, the French people in Paris, they don't like tourists anymore. There are too many tourists. And I talk to the locals. We hate tourists. Why? Why do you hate tourists? We are attracting tourists. We want tourists to come to our country. We hate tourists. Why? Because they are unruly. Number 2, they contribute to the garbage. Number 3, they bring up the cost of living here. It's so expensive, etc., etc. Hey, so we should also learn from that. So, Strauss, okay, yung produkto mo maganda. Diba? Yung produkto mo maganda. So, etong maybe they would be interested. Are you willing to teach them how to do it? Although earlier I said you have to patent it. So are you interested to teach them? And are you interested to buy their semi-products so that you can scale up? You partner with the communities.
Pwede naman po. Like, kung sino lang yung interested talaga. So, kung saan lang yung I'm willing to mentor din sa when it comes to crafting. Kasi, minsan lang yung may ganito na kind of skills din. So, for sure, if it is anything na you have, parang din, i-share mo kung ano yung meron ka. So, para din sa, sa advocacy.
Yeah, and you have to choose people who are passionate as you. You can see yourself in that person. He is also passionate.
Pwede naman hindi naman siya particularly sa jewelry, pwede naman sa home accessories or sculpting, metal sculpting. So anything involved soldering metal, any metal na arts, pwede naman siya i-develop.
Yeah, good. So, yun, especially I see a lot of young people here. I'm very, there must be, to learn from them, and maybe you have to also imagine your future from the mentors or from the speakers here. So, do I have questions from the audience? Questions from the audience? You know what? Kung hindi kayo magtanong, sinasayang natin ang opportunity because we learn from them.
Good morning, magandang umaga, and maayong buntag sa tanan.
Tatlo na yun.
Yes, po. My name is Ron. I have a question to Sir
Raf.
Sir Raf. This is like, I'm from Cagayan de Oro, from Region 10, and then part of, we are also, I was also living in Bukidnon. Nakita ko kasi yung discussion mo about helping those people na nasa indigenous ano. This is like a question, I'm not so sure if this is kind of related with the discussion of the amendment of the 1987 Constitution. Are you also part of the group na who's also fighting na sana yung mga indigenous people is hindi maiwan sa sa development ng 1987 Constitution? If that discussion will go back, tapos baka ma-approve, and then those are the risks kasi na baka maano pa sila na.
Parang hindi ako masyadong familiar sa sinasabi ng ano. So I would say I'm not part of the group or coalition. Pero yung grupo namin, gusto namin na yung Pilipino katutubo o hindi, huwag maiwan. Interestingly enough, yung nag-mentor sa amin on it, taga Bukidnon po.
Because I can see the opportunity kasi that maybe you can be part of the organization who could also support those people who's also fighting the rights of those indigenous people when these future plans of the government will be implemented, considering that these things are being discussed. But thank you for that, sir. Another question po, siguro from the three of you, I was actually listening. It was mentioned that we from the barangay level, we have this budgets for specific programs like livelihood or agriculture. However, considering it's about on a barangay level, there's a possibility that these funds is literally not enough in order for us to sustain these projects or initiatives that we wanted to implement in our barangay. Aside from the DTI or like other organization, is there any organization or maybe group na kilala nyo that is also willing to finance these initiatives or give seed fund to continue this initiative na they think is effective in specific barangays? Because on a barangay level, our connections also from the resources is limited. So maybe it's time siguro that you could share potentially that we could reach these people or organizations to support us also. Because in our barangay, sorry.
Siguro ako, ang sasabihin ko, nice, I'll ask them to give you my email, yung lahat. And then, mas maganda na alam namin yung situation mo. Kasi mahirap magbato nang hindi namin naintindihan kung ano yung nasa harapan niyo. Yun yung suggestion ko.
Well, I have a few things in mind about barangay, ito yung barangay. In fact, I'll share with you, I think during COVID in Cebu City, the local government, Cebu City, asked help from the Cebu Chamber of Commerce. At the time, I was president of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce. Asked help because during COVID, the registration, the business permit registration really dropped by 20%. So there are a lot of micro businesses that were closing, did not register, etc. So the Cebu City government asked help from the Chamber of Commerce, and we organized series of barangay. We call it the BBEMP, barangay-based mentoring for entrepreneurs program. And it was funded by the Cebu City government. And we invited down to the barangay level about how to pivot their business, or perhaps how to restart their business, or perhaps how to gain also management, maybe some knowledge about growing the business. So it can also be coming from the city or from the various location, you have to group together the different barangays. You know that we need this program. You can force it to the local government. You can force it even to maybe your congressman. They have budgets for that. What is important is there is a clear program. Because in any financial support, you know, coming from an institution, they need your story. They need your proposal. We have to have a very clear proposal, very clear program, and that can be funded. And that is why even Go Negosyo is here to do that. Go Negosyo has been deploying mentors, but there's got to be very clear design of the program. Who is going to finance it? So in the past, when we started this mentoring program, it was BPI who funded it. Check with your local BPIs. There are several programs in terms of livelihood. Even your Department of Labor, the DA, etc. There are a lot of mentorship programs coming from these agencies, and then try to participate on these programs. Yeah, Mina would like to share also. She's our executive director of the.
Yeah, I think the questions are tama, no? So, it's either kung hindi man po pwede directly yung barangay mismo yung request ng pondo coming from probably the higher government office. Marami pong grants sa Pilipinas. Probably hindi po nyo na-discover, but there are a lot of like, institutions that provide grants to programs and projects. Kung hindi man kayo yung main na proponent ng mga proposal, pwede kayo makipag-partner sa mga private sector organizations or mga NGOs or any group na willing na maging sort of like partner nyo in the implementation of the program. So many money is out there. Kung negosyo kami po as an organization, we even apply for grants kahit na meron kaming mga private sector support. So there are several embassies in the country who have very rich resources that you can actually utilize. Australia has a big funding, New Zealand has a big funding in IP, Japan through JAIC, JICA, and many different organizations. Netherlands, France, all of the embassies in the Philippines. US is also one of our biggest funders. They have very massive resources allocation for developmental programs in all of the Philippines. Meron po silang mga specific industry or specific focus areas. Katulad ng New Zealand, they're really focusing on IP projects. The US Embassy is focusing on women-led enterprises. So hanapin nyo lang po online. All of those are available online. Marami pong mga grants, opportunities na pwede nyong i-utilize, not only for your own barangay, but for your own respective cities. Kailangan nyo lang pong magsaling pwersa para mag-build ng napakagandang program proposal para po ma-approve yung request for funding. You can get as high as millions of dollars para ipondo yung mga programa nyo sa ground. So yun lang po.
Thank you very much. Okay, so in the interest of time, I will ask, are there other questions? Maybe one last question from the audience before we close the session? There being none, okay. Okay, maybe your closing takeaway statements for the audience. I'll ask each one of you maybe 3 minutes of closing statement. To inspire them. Are you inspired?
Yes.
Yes. To further inspire. Ano yung mga take ko? Ito, gawin nyo to, ganyan.
Yung sa part ko po, and since I have this yung God-given talent, at the same time, in-equip ako ni Lord na to have that skills and have that motivation. So, yun, in-embrace ko yan. Tapos, through prayers din po talaga, masustain naman talaga, ma-level up ko yung kind of livelihood you have kung saan ka. As long as yung you have the guidance po sa ni Lord. Yun talaga yung main na strength ko po is since si Lord yung nagbigay, siya din magkuha kung whatever. So, yung kind of life, yung live by faith ko talaga.
Thank you. Very, very inspiring, you know. And you know, each one of us, I'll just build on that. Each one of us, we have our own talents. Remember the parable of the talents? Although hindi parehas, isa doon binigyan ng 10 talents, 5 talents, 1 talent, etc. Pero everybody has his own talent. You have to discover ano ba yung God-given gift or what you can be good at. Are you familiar with the word ikigai? Ikigai. Google it or ask ChatGPT. Google it. Ikigai. Ikigai. It talks about 4 circles. The first is what you are really good at. You don't go into business if you're not good at it. Okay? What you are good at. What you are passionate about. If you don't have the passion, even if you're good at it, it won't, you know, hindi magtatagal. You know, what the market needs, what the world needs, very important. You're good at it, wala namang bibili. Wala namang bibili. So ano yung need? You have to be relevant in that other circle. You have to be relevant to the market. It is needed. People will buy from you because they need it. You are a solution to their problem. And the third and the fourth circle is really about economics. You have to make money out of it. You're good at it, you don't make money out of it, it will not sustain. So these 4 circles, research on Ikigai, and that is what Ms. Strozzi mentioned. You have God-given talent, and you look at it, you try to use your God-given talent. Otherwise, at the end of the day, if you just bury, ililibing mo lang yung talent dyan, magagalit si Lord sa inyo dyan. Okay? Let's go to Raph.
Siguro yung mensahe ko para sa tulungan tayo. Yun yung kailangan. So, kailangan mag-usap. Tapos, pag hindi nyo alam, aralin. Kasi lahat ng pinakita ko nung nagsimula kami, hindi namin alam. Pero inaral namin. Inaral ko, inaral ng community, ng barangay. Doon na po.
Yeah, very interesting also because binigyan naman tayo ng opportunity, binigyan tayo ng capacity to learn. You know, we can learn whether formal, informal, from the experience of others, from your mentors. You use your social media, you use your internet, etc. to something that you will learn, you know, related to what you love doing. No? So mag-aral. Ito pinakita ni Raph earlier, there's a lot of science to it. There's a lot of studies. Hindi siya pupunta dyan na wala siyang alam. So again, what you're good at, what you can be good at. Okay, thank you. And Ate Alice?
Okay, just to wrap it up, they have already said everything on what is needed. Okay, I would like to just remind everyone that everything starts with love. You have to love what you're doing. So if you know your talent, and if you know your purpose, and if you love to do those things, you must really, maintain that love. I remember that many times I have been asked, how do you make a tourist love the Cebu? How do you make a tourist love the things that you show around? It all starts with myself. If I love my country, which all of us do, if I love the city, I love the town, I love the municipality, or I love the product that I am really using to promote tourism, then I think it's very easy to convince people to come and feel the experience that you are able to do. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Alice. You've got to love what you are doing, and you've got to love your place, your country. You know, we only have one country. And I just hope that especially at this point, we heard a few the speakers before us, how badly we are behind the other countries when we were number 2 or 1 in the past 30, 40 years. Our generation saw it when we were at the top. Our generation is saying it when we are close to the bottom. Are we to blame? But this is an opportunity for us also to turn around the things, so that we can bounce back as a country. Tourism also is about country branding. Country branding. People go to your country because of the totality of what you are as a people, as a country, of what you can offer your tourists. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's love our country, let's help turn around this country, let's work together, and with that, we thank you very much on behalf of the families. Thank you very much.